My name is Alina. I'm 33 years old and work as a nurse at a busy hospital in the city. My life revolves around helping the sick, calming frightened patients, and working long shifts that stretch from sunrise to well past midnight. Some nights, I come home so exhausted I don't even take my shoes off before collapsing onto the couch. But despite the fatigue, I love my job. There's something powerful in knowing that even on my hardest days, I might be the reason someone smiles. Up until last year, my life was quiet. Too quiet, maybe. I lived alone in a small apartment near the hospital. No boyfriend. No real social circle. My life was a pattern of hospital corridors, late-night coffees, and weekend visits to my mother, who lives in a peaceful village outside the city. She's elderly and fragile, and caring for her always felt like the one personal connection I truly had. Then, everything changed. It was a cold Monday morning when he first arrived, Dr. Adrian Cole, the new cardiologist. He was 2 years younger than me, 31, but carried himself with a quiet confidence that made him seem older. Tall, with sandy brown hair and eyes the color of a stormy sky, he had a way of listening that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. The nurses all noticed him immediately. So did I. But while others gossiped and giggled, I stayed silent. I was just Alina, the ordinary one. I didn't wear designer scrubs or perfume. I had shoulder-length curly hair that always got tied back messily. I wasn't the kind of woman a man like Adrian noticed. At least, I thought I wasn't. But Adrian surprised me. He greeted me with warmth every morning. He'd stop by the nurse's station just to say hi, ask how my day was going, or hand me a coffee when he knew I had back-to-back shifts. His kindness was subtle but constant. One evening, after a particularly long shift, he offered to drive me home. I hesitated, but something in his eyes made me say yes. We talked the entire ride, about patience, about life, about the books we loved. It was effortless, natural. That drive became a ritual. Sometimes he brought me tea, and sometimes I brought him snacks from the vending machine. We started sitting together during lunch breaks, laughing about little things and sharing parts of ourselves. I felt like I was coming alive for the first time in years. Then, one quiet Saturday, Adrian asked if I wanted to watch a movie with him. We both had the day off. I said yes, trying to hide the butterflies in my stomach. We watched an old romantic comedy, and afterwards, we walked along the riverbank. He told me about his dreams of opening a clinic one day. I told him about my childhood, my fears, my mother's health. He listened like it mattered. I thought, maybe this could be something real. But a few days later, everything unraveled. We were sitting outside the hospital, sipping coffee, when Adrian suddenly turned serious. "Alina," he said, "there's something I need to tell you." My heart sank. "I'm married." I stared at him, the words crashing into me like waves. "Married?" "I've been married for 5 years," he said. "Her name is Camille." Camille. He explained that things weren't good between them, that they barely spoke, that they lived like strangers in the same house. He said being around me made him feel something again, something alive. I didn't know what to say. My thoughts were a blur of disappointment and betrayal. How could I feel so strongly for someone who wasn't even truly available? The next few days were a storm inside me. I kept asking myself, why me? Why now? Why would someone like Adrian, with a beautiful wife at home, choose to spend time with someone like me? Then something happened that shifted everything. I went to the city supermarket after a late shift, looking for something quick to eat. As I turned into an aisle, I froze. There he was, Adrian, with a woman. They hadn't seen me yet, so I observed from a distance. She was tall, graceful, and elegant in a way that made me feel invisible. She wore a red coat that looked like it belonged in a fashion magazine. She was laughing, her hand resting gently on his arm. They looked happy. I left the store before they could notice me. I walked home with tears burning in my eyes. Everything he said echoed in my mind. We don't talk. We have nothing in common. But that wasn't what I saw. I saw a man smiling with his wife. That night, I couldn't sleep. I didn't eat. I thought about Camille, about how I had become the other woman without even knowing it. The next day, I confronted him at work.
I saw you, I said.
At the store. With her. He looked shocked. Alina, I can explain. Why are you spending time with me if you're still with her? I asked, my voice shaking.
He sighed.
Because I'm not happy with her. With you, I feel like myself. But I don't want to be second choice, I whispered. He didn't answer. I told him I needed time.
Space.
The next few weeks were hard. I buried myself in work and leaned on my best friend, Syra. When I told her the whole story, she looked at me with the honesty only a best friend can offer. Alina, she said gently, you deserve someone who chooses you first, not someone who keeps you in the shadows. She was right. Then, one spring afternoon, as I left the hospital, I decided to take a walk through the park. The air was fresh, the trees blooming. It felt like the world was beginning again. Alina? I turned and saw a familiar face. It was Kieran, an old friend from university. We had studied biology together. He was the kind of guy who always smiled and remembered the tiniest details about everyone. We hugged.
Talked. Laughed.
He had moved back to the city recently and was teaching high school science. We exchanged numbers, promising to catch up.
And we did.
At first, it was just coffee, long conversations, and laughter. But there was something different about Kieran. He was calm, grounded. There were no mixed signals, no hidden truths. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe. Weeks turned into months. We shared everything, our fears, our hopes, our pain. I told him about Adrian, about how that chapter nearly broke me. He didn't judge. He just listened and held my hand. Then, one Friday, I decided to surprise Kieran at his favorite cafe after work. What I saw made my heart stop. He was sitting with a woman. She was laughing. She was stunning. They were sitting close, too close. I froze. Was history repeating itself? I didn't approach. I walked away before he could see me. That night, I cried. My heart couldn't take another betrayal. The next day, he called. Hey, Alina, he said. Want to go for a walk later? I almost said no. But then I decided I needed to know the truth. We met in the park. Kieran, I said, my voice trembling, I saw you yesterday at the cafe. With a woman. He blinked.
Oh.
That was my cousin Lila. She just moved to town. I was helping her settle in. I stared at him. Your cousin? He smiled.
Yes.
You thought, oh, Alina. He gently reached for my hand. You don't need to be afraid. There's no one else. Just you. Relief and embarrassment mixed inside me. Later that evening, I told him everything. About Adrian. About how scared I was to trust again. About how broken I had been. Kieran listened. Really listened. Alina, he said, I know how much it took for you to open up. And I'm honored that you trust me. I promise. I'm not going to hurt you. And he didn't. A year passed. A beautiful year full of love, support, laughter, and healing. Then, one crisp autumn evening, Kieran and I walked through the same park where we had reunited. He stopped suddenly. Alina, he said, turning to me with nervous eyes, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. He pulled out a small box. My heart skipped. Alina Rhea Noor, will you marry me? Tears welled up in my eyes. I nodded, unable to speak. Yes, I whispered, finally finding my voice. Yes. As he slid the ring onto my finger, I realized something powerful. All the heartbreak, the confusion, and the tears had led me here.
To him.
To love that felt whole. Adrian was a lesson. Kieran is my future. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.